Air Force Base. It's an area vital to U.S. national security. Special operations personnel are trained here for deployment all over the globe. And this week, the Miami Heat took step one in their special operation, Operation NBA Title. A free agent coup unprecedented in
space where the players have slept together in the same hotel. They had to bring in extra beds, longer beds for the players to be able to fit in. They have not left the campus grounds. They have 3 meals together each day. They've been able to explore other areas of the Air Force Base, been exposed to different techniques that they use in hand-to-hand combat. They've actually had a chance to fly some simulator planes, and it's just been a great all-around experience, and the camp itself has been fantastic.
They've really hunkered down here. You had a chance to speak with third-year head coach Eric Spoelstra. Now, he's been dealt really a fantasy league team, okay? And that's great in many areas, but he better win. He better win a lot. And there's some pressure on Eric this year.
You inherit 3 great players like Bosh, Wade, and LeBron James. But with that comes the pressure of handling them and figuring it out. How do they work together? How do we make this thing right at both ends of the floor? And he noticed, every year we all know that the Heat play hard. They're one of the hardest playing teams in the NBA, night in and night out. Last year in training camp, Eric Spoelstra said we had a great training camp, we played hard. But this year, it's a different level. The talent is so much different. And you can see it in their practices. If there's one word that jumps out, it's speed.
No question about it. Bosh called it the toughest training camp he has ever taken part in. Now, we mentioned the military presence here. It's everywhere, Mike, everywhere you look. And 225 folks will take in each half in the Adderholt complex, and they'll trade that out. Now, these are special ops people, some of them who are back from deployment and being rewarded by getting a chance to watch this NBA team perform. And these are special people, these special ops types.
Yeah, when you say special, it's a very unique group. And Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley have...
LeBron James, certainly a lightning rod for this team coming in. Took an amazing amount of criticism after he made the decision to come here. But he has been all business in training camp. They've talked about how he's been a facilitator on offense. He's been very vocal on defense.
The flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, there you have it. That's on the floor at the Adderholt complex. We are getting ready to start. And
kind of get the idea of who is able to put points on the board.
Expectations sometimes can be a tough thing no matter how talented you are. And really, Mike, can you look back and think of a team that had more expectations on it and a team that hasn't played a regular season game yet than this Miami Heat squad?
The way this whole thing came together, it's quite different than what happened with the Bulls, okay? And I'm talking about the Bulls team that won 72 games, the most games ever during the course of a regular season. And remember, on that team, you had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Tony Kukoc. You also had a guy named Dennis Rodman that averaged 15 rebounds a game during that particular season. So people are saying that this group of Miami Heat players can beat the 72-win record. I'm not sure. That's a very, very difficult thing to do. But those are the expectations that have been placed out in front of them. And as a couple of the players have said in interviews already, we can't have crisis management take place if we happen to lose 2 games in a row. It could happen during the course of the season.
Yeah, but that is going to be magnified during the season. A 2-game losing streak is going to be monumental for this Heat team. They'll say, what's wrong with the Heat? Why can't they win?
Well, the one thing you always have to deal with are injuries, and you hope that no team, particularly a team that has a legitimate chance to contend for a championship, isn't hit with a serious injury, because that's part of the formula for winning a championship. You have to have a little bit of luck and stay healthy.
Udonis Haslem is a name that we haven't mentioned during the course of the broadcast here, but very important, and a guy who left some $14 million on the table possibly in free agency to come back here and be a part of this. And he said, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that this big 3 thing works. He wants it to work.
Yeah, and what you were talking about, the $14 million, other teams were willing to offer him the full mid-level exception. He took less than that to be able to fit into the plan that Pat Riley had in putting this squad together. Took less money, probably total, as you mentioned, close to $14 million. We see the step-up steal, and that's one of the things great about this team. They will be so good at the defensive end, and then the ability to convert defense into easy points on offense. But going back to Haslam, his first sacrifice came last year when he agreed to come off the bench, not be a starter for him last year, and he played extremely well in that spot. We also know at the end of games, don't be surprised if he's on the floor because he's such a tough defender, hard-nosed rebounder.
Well, he does the dirty work, right? He's a guy, and doesn't every team have to have that type of player, a guy who's going to stick his nose in there and play hard?
And then when that guy, as Udonis has, improves his 17-foot jump shot to the point that he can keep Giannis in games, that much better. Again, out in transition, easy score for the white team.
Yeah, pretty good. Now, last year, this was again, it's an entirely different roster. Spoelstra had a good defensive team last year. They did a great job in points allowed. They were second in the league. Field goal percentage allowed. They were very highly ranked. So this is already, the mentality's already in place defensively, yes?
When you look at stats from a year ago, Miami was terrific at the defensive end in 4 or 5 categories. At the offensive end, they were at the bottom of the league in 4 or 5 categories. Points scored, fast break points, that type of thing. It was a different, so good a year ago. It's going to be better this year because they're bigger, faster, stronger than they were a year ago.
Give me the Bosch perspective on this. He was a double-double machine, great career with the Toronto Raptors. Comes here now, he's kind of the other guy in the big three, and that might suit him fine. Why will he benefit with everything else that's taking place with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James?
When you are the man on a team, as the positions go, so he will wind up getting more easy shots than he's faced for a long, long time.
All right, I'll ask you another tough question now as we're in the...
If they cannot submerge their egos, if they're not willing to share the basketball, understand that tonight it might be player A's night, but the next night it might be player B, and player A has to be willing to step back. He can't try to take last night and make tonight last night because it might be another guy's turn that next night. And are you willing to do that? You might fall from the statistics. You may not be top 3 scorers in the league. You might drop to
LeBron, that's what he does so well. And do you think, you know, maybe this is LeBron's chance to really embrace that role as a guy who distributes, sort of that hybrid point forward. And like you said, Pat Riley sold it to him coming here as comparing him to one of the greatest players in history.
Well, Pat Riley coached Magic Johnson. Magic at 6'9", point guard, could see over the defense, very unselfish. Didn't matter to him how many points he scored. What he cared about was winning championships, which is what he did. And LeBron, I think Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra saw in LeBron many of the same characteristics that Magic Johnson had. Now, if you put 2 guys on either side of LeBron, both who are capable of scoring 25 points, maybe it makes LeBron that much happier that he can play basketball, play an intelligent game. He's got great basketball IQ, and now has guys that can finish on both sides.
Mike averaged 8.6 assists a game last year. That is far and away the all-time record for a forward in a single season. How impressive is that stat alone to you?
Well, let me ask you before you ask me.
Well, I already asked you, but you can ask me back.
Can he average a triple-double? That's the question people are asking.
You know, this day and age, I don't know if he can average a triple-double. Now, if everything was the same night after night and we could control the experiment, maybe. But you don't think that's going to be the case, do you? Situations vary.
Well, you see how close he came, a year ago in Cleveland, where he's over 8 assists a game. Mm-hmm. He's over just almost at 8 rebounds a game, besides the points that he averaged. My concern would be that this team gets so good that they go into fourth quarters and they're up 20, 25 points on an opponent. And will Eric Spoelstra, if you're playing back-to-back games, 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 5 nights, will he say, hey, sit down right now, we'll put the other guys in? Remember, this team has 5 starters coming off the bench. Guys who were starters in their career. Udonis Haslam, right, coming off the bench. Zydrunas Ilgauskas coming off the bench. 5 different ones here that have all been starters in their career. So that's not too bad. I think you can probably thought he'd go down and he'd stay down. What a pass, pitching that thing ahead, knowing exactly.
Being here, Mike, was isolation from potential criticism. Look at that steal. And finish. Wow.
Cleveland, you know that.
Yeah, sure do. LeBron back on the floor, pushing the basketball. And that's what we might see with the LeBron.
And they'll be able to get back down to Miami, where they'll look forward to their exhibition game on Tuesday night. So you'll see a little bit of lack of concentration here in the last couple of minutes.
Base. Excuse me, and talk to folks like that.
Well, maybe
so it's a good exchange.
Maybe you get a little better appreciation. Wow, look at Wade turn the corner, finish it. Now, last time we saw Wade push it down the floor. This time you saw LeBron take it from one end, push, challenge the defense, back it out, call for the high screen, and now he has to make the decision.
He gets you so many good looks.